The rain poured heavily over the empty streets as thunder echoed across the dark sky. At the edge of a forgotten town stood an old abandoned house surrounded by dead trees and rusted fences. People called it the Hollow House. No one dared to go near it after sunset. For nearly 30 years, terrifying stories had spread through the town. Some claimed they heard screams coming from inside the house at night. Others said shadowy figures watched them from the upstairs windows. But the most horrifying rumor was this: anyone who spent a night inside the house never returned the same. If they returned at all, most people believed it was just another urban legend. Except tonight, 4 college friends were about to discover the truth. "Come on, this is going to be fun," Ethan laughed while holding his camera. Ethan was obsessed with paranormal stories and wanted to upload a ghost hunting video online. With him were his friends, Jake, Mia, and Ryan. The group parked their car near the abandoned house just before midnight. The building looked even worse in real life. The paint had peeled off the walls years ago. Broken windows stared like dark, empty eyes. The porch creaked in the wind, and thick fog surrounded the entire property like a living thing. Mia looked nervous. "I don't think this is a good idea." Jake smirked. "Scared already?" Before anyone could answer, thunder cracked across the sky. Ryan pointed his flashlight toward the front door. "Let's get this over with." The 4 friends stepped inside. The moment they entered, the front door slammed shut behind them with unbelievable force. Bang! Everyone jumped. Jake immediately grabbed the handle and tried opening the door again, but it wouldn't move. "Okay, that's weird," he whispered. The house smelled of mold and rotten wood. Dust covered the floor so thickly that every footprint was visible. Old furniture lay broken across the rooms, and strange scratches covered the walls. Ethan kept recording everything with excitement. "This place is perfect," he said. Then they heard it. Footsteps, slow, heavy footsteps coming from the second floor. Thump, thump, thump. The entire house fell silent. Ryan swallowed nervously. "There's someone upstairs." "No one lives here," Mia replied quietly. Another loud thump echoed above them, this time closer. Jake grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the staircase. Probably animals. The stairs groaned beneath their feet as they climbed upward. Halfway up, Mia suddenly froze. "Wait!" Everyone stopped. At the end of the hallway upstairs stood a little girl wearing a dirty white dress. Her long black hair covered most of her face. She wasn't moving. She was just standing there, watching them. Jake laughed nervously. "Okay, not funny. Who brought the kid?" The girl slowly tilted her head sideways. Then she disappeared. Not walked away, not ran. She vanished completely. Fear spread across the group, but Ethan pushed forward, determined to keep filming. They reached a bedroom at the end of the hallway. Inside, an old wooden rocking chair moved slowly on its own. Creak, creak. Ethan pointed his camera around the room until he noticed several old photographs hanging on the wall. One picture showed a family, a father, a mother, and a little girl. But the terrifying part was this. The little girl looked exactly like Mia. Mia stepped backward in horror. "That's impossible." Ryan noticed words scratched deeply into the wall beside the photo. "She never left." Suddenly the room became freezing cold. Their breath appeared in the air. Then came the sound of a child laughing softly. "Hey, hey, hey." The laughter grew louder and louder until it echoed through the entire house. Suddenly, the bedroom door slammed shut. Darkness filled the room as Ethan's flashlight flickered violently before dying completely. Then came whispering. Soft voices surrounded them from every direction. "Why did you come back?" Jake punched the door repeatedly. "Open the door." The flashlight suddenly turned back on. The little girl stood inches away from Jake. Her face was horribly burned. Her eyes were completely black, and her mouth stretched into an unnatural smile. Jake stumbled backward in terror. The girl slowly raised her arm and pointed directly at Mia. "You left me alone." Mia shook her head, crying. "I don't know who you are." Black tears streamed down the girl's burnt face. Suddenly, the entire house began shaking violently. The photographs fell from the walls. Cracks spread across the ceiling, and somewhere below them came the sound of dozens of people screaming in pain. The bedroom floor suddenly collapsed beneath Ryan. He disappeared into darkness below. "Ryan!" Ethan screamed. The remaining three rushed downstairs and discovered a hidden basement door had opened beneath the broken floorboards. A horrible smell rose from below. Rotten flesh mixed with burned wood. They slowly descended into the basement. Their flashlights revealed chains hanging from the walls. Burn marks covered the concrete floor. In the corner lay piles of human bones. Mia noticed an old newspaper clipping lying nearby. Her shaking hands picked it up. The headline read, "Family burned alive in house fire. Young daughter missing." Mia's face turned pale. There was no body found for the daughter. Then they heard Ryan screaming from deeper inside the basement. They ran toward the sound and froze. Ryan stood facing the wall motionlessly. "Ryan?" Ethan whispered. Slowly, Ryan turned around. His eyes were completely black. Blood dripped from his mouth. Behind him stood the little girl smiling. "She was lonely," Ryan said in a distorted voice. Then every light in the basement exploded at once. Darkness swallowed everything. Ethan grabbed Mia's hand and ran blindly toward the stairs. Behind them came horrible sounds. Scratching, crawling, footsteps racing across the floor. Something was chasing them. Jake screamed somewhere behind them, then suddenly went silent. Ethan never saw him again. The front door burst open by itself as Ethan and Mia reached it. They sprinted outside into the storm, gasping for breath. For a moment, everything became quiet. Then Mia slowly looked toward the second-floor window. The little girl stood there staring down at them. Beside her stood Ryan and Jake, motionless, smiling, their eyes completely black. 10 years later, the house still stands abandoned at the edge of town. Locals say strange lights appear in the upstairs windows during storms. Some people hear children laughing late at night. Others claim they see a burned little girl standing near the road asking strangers for help. But the most terrifying part is this. Every year, more people disappear after entering the house. And if anyone finds the old family photograph hanging upstairs, they notice something impossible. The number of people in the picture keeps growing.